right, friends, you are looking at Curly Doc. Curly Doc, but before I start talking about Mr. Curly Doc, I want to thank the Creator for waking me up this morning, giving me another day to live on His creation, on His planet. I want to thank Him for that. He didn't have to let me open up my eyes this morning, but I was sleeping, my eyes were closed. Then all of a sudden they opened, and it was a new day, another chance. A new day, another day to repent, another day to try to get on the right path, the path of righteousness. Another day to be for real, not fake. Listen to me, friends, not fake, but for real. And I was so thankful for that this morning. It is still very early, and the sun has just poked its head up probably about an hour or so ago. And I am out here looking at Curly Doc. Curly Doc. Now, I transplanted these, dug these up, and stuck them over here by the pond. And it's just because I didn't want them mowed over by the lawnmower. I want to harvest the seeds. And I've been harvesting every year, harvesting wild edible seeds, and putting them on the retreat property up there in Tennessee. And I do it every year, just throw them out. I'm trying to get certain things growing up there, goldenrod, some more wild lettuces, and a lot, excuse me, I'm trying to get Curly Doc up there, growing and thriving up there. So these seeds will be put up there. At least that's the plan. And I've put a lot of other wild edible seeds up there. And some of them have taken and some of them have not. Anyway, so this is the Curly Doc. And, the root is medicinal. The leaves are edible / medicinal. They do have a medicinal value to them, but they are edible. And especially if you cook them good, they are very edible. And excuse me, the seeds are edible as well. You can use them just like any other grain. Just like any grain, you can use these seeds. Now, these seeds, if stored properly, if dried thoroughly, stored properly, these seeds will last up to 80 years. 80 years now. Listen, that means that you can store these seeds if you do it right, and your great-grandchildren can actually use these and plant these, and Curly Doc will grow 80 years from now. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? And I'm not talking about freezing them. I'm talking about drying them and just storing them properly somewhere. 80 years. 80 years. This is guaranteed food. Guaranteed food for your great grandchildren right here. These seeds, guaranteed food for your great grandchildren. 80 years these seeds will store. Now listen to me. Now these seeds can be done just like a grain, just like wheat or corn or whatever. They can be dried out thoroughly, ground up, and made into flour. And so if you can store the seed for 80 years and it still be usable, then think about this. After 80 years, you'll be able to take these seeds, grind them up as flour, and they still be good, still be usable, still be edible, still be able to eat pancakes, still be able to eat biscuits. Yes, isn't that not crazy? Anyway, think about that. Think about this plant. That's why I take these seeds every year and throw them up at the retreat property. I throw them out everywhere. And up and down the driveway, on the sides of the driveway, down the hills, up the hills, in the woods, out in the open, everywhere I can. And they're taking off in certain areas. And this is called food security, friends. Food security, believe it or not. The root is edible, medicinal, more of a medicinal. And I guess if you cooked it really well and cooked some of the medicinal properties out, it would be more like food. The leaves are very edible, like food. They've got that same acid in them that spinach has in it and other vegetables that we eat every day. And so you have to cook them. If you're going to eat them raw, you don't want to like eat them raw every single day, for a long span, because they could possibly, and this is just possibly cause a kidney stone. Huh? So you don't want to do that. You don't want to do spinach that way and many other vegetables that way. Although I eat spinach every day, and I've eaten it every day for 10 years. And I have no kidney stones as of yet. Watch me get one tomorrow. But anyway, very edible. So if you cook these leaves very well, you'd cook that acid out. That could possibly cause a kidney stone. But there's no worry in the seed, that's for sure. So the curly dock, it is one of the ultimate wild edibles, and that is because it produces food. Look at the food on this thing, and look at this one. Look at the leaves. Now imagine the root. Look at the leaves, and then look at the seeds. That's a lot of food. That's a lot of food from one plant. And that's amazing to me. And guess what, friends? This is wild. This comes straight from your Creator to you. A blessing here. Look, it's a blessing. He hands it to you. He hands this blessing to you. Medicine and food. Medicine and the root. Food and the leaves. For right now. A little bit raw, a little bit cooked for right now, today. And then look what you have for tomorrow. Huh? Seeds. Anyway, the curly dock. Amazing, wild edible, just so amazing. And I'm hoping at the retreat property to have this flourishing, where it just takes over certain areas and keeps going because it is food. It is absolute good, wholesome, Creator handed to you food. Yes. It's like manna falling straight from heaven. All they had to do was pick it up and eat it. Same here. Anyway, curly dock, awesome. Get you some food growing. Learn those wild edibles. Listen, it is so important. It is so important that we learn our wild edibles. And not only that, it is so. Ask any Native American who thinks very native, not that thinks like Europeans, or I shouldn't even say Europeans, your average American, which can be any race. Ask a Native American or an indigenous person anywhere around the globe about wild edibles. And they'll tell you, oh, absolutely, everyone should know their wild edibles. And although you use this system out here, this man-made system of the beast, come on, this man-made system of the beast, although we use it, we should not be dependent upon it. We should not be dependent upon it. Using and being dependent are two different things. You can use something but not be dependent on it. And so we got to get to that place. Hey, listen to me. I'll save you a lot of time in studying. Just do it. Just learn your wild edibles. Don't search it out and try, or do if you want, but you don't have to search it out and try to find out if it's the thing to do, because common sense tells you it's the thing to do. And yes, every indigenous person who thinks indigenous around this globe is going to tell you, absolutely, learn your wild edibles. What else is there? You go to some of them There's a tribe in Colombia, the country, not Colombia. Anyway, so there's a tribe in Colombia that live in the mountains, and this is how they live. And they're not the only ones. They're all around the globe like this. And they would think you were a nut. They would think you were crazy if you did not live off of wild edibles and wild foods and hunt and fish and trap. They would think you were crazy if you did not grow your own food and raise your own animals. They would think you were crazy to depend on a system that is made from man to get your food, to get your source of nutrients. Anyway, that is it. The garden is doing awesome. Look at those beans, friend. Look at them. Doing amazing. Look at this spinach. I've got to get out here and get this. Excuse me. My. The race between the tomato and the spinach. See, once this spinach dies off of the heat, because of the heat, and it won't really grow anymore through the summer, a tomato will appear. And so the pot has been producing spring. It'll produce spring, and throughout the summer, this pot will produce an amazing amount of food. And I've been harvesting this stuff. I've been harvesting this spinach. And so this pot will produce food all spring and all summer, and be able to store some for the fall in canning some of the tomatoes. Spring and early summer, we'll harvest the spinach. Look, see? And then summer, we'll harvest the tomatoes. See, this is lamb's quarter. And it's a wild plant. And I just let it grow because it's free lettuce. Learn those wild edibles, friends. Anyway, curly dock. We'll see you.